All right, let's dive right in. Forget all the headlines and the hype for a second. Today, we're going to dig into some huge new data to find out the real story of how hundreds of millions of people are actually using ChatGPT. And trust me, some of the findings are pretty surprising.
Okay, so let's just start with the scale here. What is this number? 700 million. That is the number of weekly active users for ChatGPT as of mid-2025. The researchers themselves are calling its global spread something with, and I'm quoting here, no precedent. That's wild. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with that massive global scale, then zoom into who the users are, why they're using it, and what it all means for the future of work. Let's jump in.
All right, first up, the global phenomenon. We're talking about a scale and a speed that's just, honestly, it's hard to wrap your head around.
I mean, just look at this growth curve. It launches late 2022, and boom, a year later, 100 million weekly users. The next year, 350 million. And by the summer of 2025, it doubles again. This isn't just growth. It's an absolute explosion.
And to really put that 700 million in perspective, that's basically 10% of every single adult on Earth using this thing every week. It's become a utility, almost like water or electricity, faster than any technology we have ever seen before.
So who are these 700 million people? Well, what's really interesting is that the who has changed a lot since the beginning. You know, in the very beginning, it was mostly guys. We're talking like 80%. But then look what happens. By mid-2025, it's pretty much a 50-50 split. That's a huge deal. It tells you this isn't some niche tech toy anymore. It's gone completely mainstream. And the age breakdown? Also super interesting. Almost half of all the messages flying back and forth are from young people, 18 to 25. So yeah, the core users are definitely young digital natives. But even that is starting to even out a bit.
Okay, now we get to what might be the biggest shocker in this entire study. I mean, all we hear about is AI in jobs, right? Productivity, the future of work. But is that actually what people are using it for? So let me ask you, before I show you the data, what do you think? Is ChatGPT mainly a tool for work, or is it a tool for our personal lives? Because the answer is probably not what you think.
And here it is. Almost 3/4, 73%, of all ChatGPT use has nothing to do with work. And get this, just a year ago, that number was about half. Now, it's exploded. This thing is way more personal than professional.
Okay, so if it's mostly for personal stuff, what are people actually doing with it? The great thing about this data is we can finally cut through all the noise, the headlines about AI coders and AI companions, and see what's really going on. So what are they up to? Well, it pretty much boils down to these three big things. First, practical guidance. Think planning a workout or a trip. Then, writing, everything from emails to poems. And seeking info. Basically, using it instead of a search engine. And those three things alone, that's almost 80% of everything. Wow.
But you know what's almost as interesting? What people are not really using it for. All that hype about coding, it's only about 4% of messages. And that whole idea of an AI friend or therapist, even less, under 2%. Turns out the real uses are way more, normal and practical.
Okay, but let's talk about that slice of people who are using it for work. There's one thing they're doing way more than anything else. This number right here, 40%. That's the percentage of all work messages that are about writing. It is hands down the #1 professional use case for this tool. This is where this study gets really cool. The researchers came up with this brilliant way to think about why people are using it. It's not just about the what, it's about the why, the intent behind the prompt. So they broke it down into two main buckets. Asking is when you're using it like a consultant, right? You want advice to help you make a decision. And doing is when you're using it like an assistant. You want it to actually perform a task, like, hey, write this email for me. So how does it break down? Well, look at that. It's almost a perfect 50-50 split, but asking just inches ahead. What this means is that for half the time people use it, they don't want a finished product. They want a partner to think with. And here's the kicker. Not only is asking growing faster than doing, but people actually rate those asking conversations as being higher quality. So people are finding more and more value in using it as a tool to help them think, not just a tool to do. So where does this all lead?
This whole shift from doing to asking, it completely changes how we should think about ChatGPT's value, especially in a professional setting. It's not just an automation tool anymore. It's becoming a real thought partner.
Now, this table is fascinating. It shows this incredible pattern across all kinds of different jobs. Just look down the columns. It doesn't matter if you're in management, tech, education, sales. Making decisions is right there at the top for almost everyone. It's this universal fundamental part of work, and this tool is plugging right into it.
And this brings us right to the core idea of the whole study. Basically, the researchers are saying its real economic value isn't about replacing tasks. It's about providing decision support. It's helping people in these knowledge jobs make smarter, better informed choices. And that's where the real productivity boost comes from.
So that's really the big takeaway here. The story of ChatGPT, at least so far, isn't about automation. It's about augmentation. Its real power is as this incredible co-pilot that helps us think, helps us decide, and helps us create better than we could on our own.
So I want to leave you with this question. We've seen the data. This thing is changing from a tool that just does stuff into a partner that helps us think. It's not just about getting tasks done anymore. It's about helping us think better. So the question for you is, what's the next big decision you're going to make with your co-pilot? Thanks for watching.